Hi guys, welcome to Kat's Kinder Kids. Today I wanted to make a video about site-based decision teams and how you're going to transition into that role. So I know it's different depending on district, and it's also different depending on sites at your district. For example, in my district it was a site-based decision, so our site decided how we wanted our leadership to look on our campus. So I'm going to tell you what it looks like on our campus and then how I transitioned into the leadership role and some tips and tricks to transition into being a grade level leader. So at my site, we have grade level leaders as our decision making team. So we are a K through 5 site. So that means there are 6 of us who are grade level leaders. At our site, you can only be a grade level leader for 2 years, and then you sit out and let someone else take a turn. And once they've had their 2 years, you can come back or someone else can take another turn. For a long time, we had some teachers that would do it for very long spans of time, up to like 10 years. And so we decided as a staff that it would be fair if we did it for 2 years in a row. And then if someone else wanted a chance, they can come in and jump in and take over. We did that so that other people had their voices heard, and they were able to feel a part of our community, because our site changed a lot in the last couple of years, and we've had a lot of retirements in the last 3 years. So we wanted a chance for the newer teachers to make sure that their voices were getting heard. So our position is for 2 years. It also has a stipend that comes with it, so you do get paid. It's not very much, I want to say. It's maybe $60 a month extra, but I mean, hey, we're teachers, so there's your Starbucks money right there. Or maybe your Target dollar spot money for the month. So you get about 60 something like that dollars a month for your stipend. It does not count towards your units. So at my site, you have a certain amount of units. We have 4 that you have to complete throughout the year. So you get units for volunteering for different activities. You might be part of the PTA or run the science fair. So doing those things gets you points, and you have to have 4 points by the end of the year. So our leadership team does not count towards that, but we do get paid for part of our time for that. We meet every other week. We're allotted an hour, but we spend more time than that. And that's totally fine with me, because we work with really great people. I think I say that all the time. I work with amazing people, and I'm very lucky. And we don't mind each other's company, and we don't mind putting extra work in. So our minutes are supposed to be about 60 minutes every other week, but we do go over that. And what it looks like on our campus is at our PLCs, so when all of the teachers in a grade level meet, they'll come up with some things that they have questions on or concerns about. It can be site-based or curriculum-based, and that goes to me. And then I take that to these meetings, and we add it on the agenda, and we talk about it with the rest of the teacher leaders. We also delegate information, so information that comes from the top comes down to us, and then we bring it to our sites. And sometimes it's just giving them information, and sometimes it's giving them information, coming up with a solution as a grade level, and then bringing that back and presenting what we think might be best. We're very lucky we're at a site where our administration really listens to us, and they really care about our input. So we spend a lot of time talking and discussing, but I think it's just super beneficial. So we do that every other week for at least an hour. And then we also have meetings at the beginning of the school year and the end of the school year to kind of wrap things up and put things on the agenda for the next time that we meet. So I was only at my site for a year without any leadership roles, and then the next year I took on a role that was not based on the leadership team. It was another leadership opportunity in the school, and I did that for a year. And then actually I left that to be part of our leadership team for the teachers, and that was because our leader that was current was up with their 2 years, so she had to step down, and it was sad because she was, I mean, one of the most amazing grade level leads. That's what we call them on our campus, grade level leaders. She was there when I came into the grade level, and she was super supportive. She had me come in the summer and go through her room and look at how she set things up and go over curriculum, and she included me on all of the emails because I was hired at the end of the year to go into the new year. So that whole summer I was included in everything, and she was a super great leader. So it was big shoes to fill when she was stepping down. So she was still staying at our site. So she still was going to be part of our kinder team. And then I took over as the grade level leader. I want to give you guys some tips to make that really smooth. I'm lucky in my site because I work with, how many times in one video can I say I work with amazing people? But I do. And there was no tension, there was nothing like that. And I think part of it is because I went to our old grade level leader and I asked for help. And that is one of my biggest tips. If they were doing a really amazing job and they had done so well, and even if they hadn't, go to them and ask for their help. They've done it for at least 2 years. Some of them had been doing it for much longer before we implemented the 2-year rule. Go and get their opinion, knock on their door, ask for help, ask for a meeting, can be like, hey, can we set up a time? I would love to pick your brain and get all of your ideas because I want to be just as successful as you were. And that really gets you far. If you are taking the time to show someone that you appreciate what they did, they're going to want to help you. So that's one thing I did is I reached out to our old grade level lead and I asked her, what do you think about this? I have a question about this. Or I even went to her and I said, hey, I know you guys have done it this way for a really long time. I'm thinking about this and changing something. What do you think about that? Before I bring it up in a big group, I brought it to her and we talked about it and the pros and the cons, and then I brought it to the group. So if you're gonna make any big changes, I would recommend running that through the old grade level leader and get their input and use them. They're there as a resource and you wanna make sure you use your resources. Another tip that I have is to, this is again, use your resources. We at our site have a secretary and we have an office manager. Go use them. They are there and they're wonderful people and they take on a lot. They take on angry parents in the office. They have to do all the paperwork. They also get the brunt of angry teachers sometimes when we're just having a bad day, and I'm completely guilty of that, of just walking through the office with a puss on my face and just really grumpy and, you know, not interactive with them. So they take on a lot and they have so much knowledge. So, and they, at least at my site, they've been there much longer than I have, so they know all of the tricks and ins and outs. So if I have a question about doing a print shop order and ordering supplies or ordering curriculum or getting field trips ready, they have all this information from everyone else who's done it before me. So I really made the effort to go and ask them questions. And sometimes they'll even, while you're talking about field trips, they'll be like, hey, you know, you need to rent out the multi-purpose room for this event that you guys have always done. I don't know if you know you're supposed to do that. And I didn't know I was supposed to rent out the multi-purpose room for my grade level. And so she was really helpful for that situation. So a big tip would be just to use your resources. Go back to the old grade level lead, ask them what their thoughts are on some things and pick their brain for their knowledge, and go use your resources in the office with your secretary, with your office manager, ask them for help, see what tips and tricks they have for you, and it's gonna make your transition a lot more smooth. Something else that I really recommend is going back to previous agendas that you guys have had during your PLCs. I know this is something we've done since I've gotten there. We always have a document that has our agenda on it, and it's a living document, and it's just one Google Doc, and we'll have the agenda, we'll have, at the top we have important dates, so anything during the week, because our PLCs are on Monday, so anything during that week that we really need to pay attention to. Then we have our norms, and then we have our schedule. Once we're done for that week, when we make the next agenda, we go to the top of that, and then we do it again. So it's all in the same document. So I can go into my Google Drive and type in 2014 agenda, and it'll pull up one piece of paper, one Google Doc, and it has the entire year's agenda in that spot, and I can just search on that one agenda. And that's super nice, so you don't have files and files and files and files, because I don't know about you guys, but my Google Drive looks like a mess. My desktop on my laptop is a mess and I can't find anything. So I love that we keep it all in one file. So a big tip is to go back and review agendas before you were the grade level leader. So during this time in April 2 years ago, what did they talk about, and are these things that we're still doing, or are those things I don't need to pay attention to? Or what did our agenda look like in the summer when we were getting ready to start for the school year? Do we need to make our recess agenda? Do we need to work on our PE schedule? What are things that they had done prior? That way you're staying ahead of the game and you don't have people constantly in your ear, you forgot about this, you forgot about this, you forgot about this. Look at that agenda. And if you don't have an agenda, start that now as a grade level leader. You have a lot of influence, and I don't know about you, to become that position, we have to vote as a staff to have those people come in. So clearly they want you there and they respect and they care about what you have to say. They voted you into the position. So take that leadership role. If you don't have the agenda, start creating it. Share everyone on the Google folder. We have our admin and our office staff on that too. So if they have a concern or they have a question about maybe a field trip that's not scheduled yet, they can go in and look and see that we've talked about it and it's tentatively for this time. So always go back and look at old agendas that previous leaders had and see some ideas that you can pick and take from those agendas. A big tip I have for starting the school year out really strong as a grade level lead is to be positive. And I know that sounds silly to say, but sometimes we forget that we need to be positive. And I don't know about you guys, but I am known for the resting witch face. And sometimes I'm in the zone and I'm walking around campus and I'm not angry and I'm not upset. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm actually like, yeah, if someone talks to me, I'd love to stop and talk to them. But I've got something in my brain and I'm thinking about it, and then I know I need to go to the copier and I need to run to the bathroom and I have 3 minutes to get all that done, and it shows on my face and I'm just in the zone. So I really have to make a conscious effort to put a happy look on my face and walk through the halls smiling, because our kids are seeing us, our staff is seeing us, and I might be positive and I might be having a really good day, but it doesn't look like that to other people. So one thing I always like to remind myself is to show people that you're positive, and you could be having a really shitty day, but you don't want the rest of your grade level to know that. Sometimes we get stuck in just this negative headspace, and you come into your PLC like that and you're like, ugh, I pick up today, this parent had this really snotty comment to me, and I don't know if they meant it to be snotty, but I can tell you they were coming off like a jerk, and you just, and you really want to talk about it with your grade level. And sometimes that's great to talk about and just get it out and vent. And other times you don't want to bring that into a room where you're gonna have to look at student work in a minute, and you're gonna have to plan, and you're gonna have to do all these things that's on your agenda, and you're already in a bad mood and you're bringing that bad energy into the room. So fake it till you make it. Even if you're not in a positive mood, you need to bring that positivity into the room. Something I've learned from just being in different PLCs or different staff meetings, or from people that have come before me, is to always start the meeting on a positive note and end the meeting on a positive note. So in my grade level, I'm known for silly teacher memes, and I will spend my hours on Instagram just like laughing at silly teachers memes, and sometimes I'll screenshot them and send them to my principal and she just cracks up at them, and other times I'll screenshot them and save them in my phone and I'll throw it up into our agenda and just have some silly little picture that just gets everybody in a good mood. So even if I come in faking it till I make it and I'm pretending like I'm in a good mood, and a teacher walks in and they just had a really bad experience at drop off, or they're checking their email and something happened, or it was just a rough day with a kiddo, they come in, they see that, and they chuckle, and it's just a good way to start it. Another way I like to start our meetings is with a 10-minute bird walk. So we talk about our weekends or our kids or things that make us happy after we laugh at our meme, and it just gets everyone in a good headspace. And I always like to end on a positive note too. So those PLC meetings can be long, and I don't know how your district schedules them, but for us, the kids have a half day and then they go home at 12:30, and then we have a certain amount of time that we have to meet. Our grade level meets longer than that just because we can't get everything in that time frame, so we decided as a grade level that we were going to extend it. And we're doing a lot and we're pushing ourselves sometimes, and it's like really heavy. So by the end of it, we just want to go home. No one wants to deal with it. But sometimes even if it's just another quick little silly picture I put up, or a little affirmation. Affirmations are incredible, and always tell people how much you love them and how much you appreciate the things that they do for the kiddos. So start at positive and end on positive is a really great way to lead into your position of being a teacher leader. Another tip I have for making a smooth transition into being a teacher leader on your campus or at your PLCs or however it looks in your school is to see people outside of school. And I know that's kind of a crazy concept for people, but I strongly recommend it. It can be going out and having a drink on the first Friday of every month, or it can be creating a bowling team, and people don't have to bowl, but they can just come and join you. I live close to the beach, so sometimes there's a group of us that just like to go have a bonfire like once every 3 months down at the beach. But really make an effort to get to know your coworkers outside of school. And I know that's a little controversial for some people. Some people agree with that. Some people think, no, I don't want to get to know them on a personal level. I think that's important, and I do that with my kids and with adults. We all know this. Students aren't going to learn unless you care and unless you've created a field of trust. If you don't trust those kids and those kids don't trust you, you're not going to get very far with your curriculum. And I think the same thing goes with being a teacher leader on your campus. If you don't have trust with the people that you're with and you don't have good communication, you're not going to get what you want and they're not going to get what they want. And it's not going to be a happy place. And I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time at school, and I want to be able to walk down the halls and smile and laugh and feel respected and feel like I have trust with my coworkers. So seeing them outside of school I think is really important, and it doesn't have to be all the time, and it doesn't have to be getting drinks or having alcohol involved. It can just be a, hey, let's go to the beach and go do this. Hey, let's go to the bowling alley. Hey, let's go have dinner at a restaurant that's a few further blocks away than we normally would go so we don't see kids. And just make the effort to see people outside of school and learn about their families and learn about them as a person when you're beginning your adventure of being a teacher leader. All right, guys, so I want to wrap it up with just saying good luck in your new spot for being a teacher leader, and congratulations. And I look forward to hearing all of the awesome stuff that you do as a teacher leader. Have a good night, guys.